Welcome to this video, The Hidden Dangers of Vegetable Oils. We will explore what researchers are warning us about and why this matters for your long-term health, based on health and nutrition research. This program is brought to you by the Series of Thoughts team as part of the Health and Wellness series. Chapter 1, A Modern Diet's Unseen Threat. Over the past century, a significant shift in the human diet has been the dramatic rise of industrially processed vegetable oils. Researchers are now sounding the alarm about the consequences. This timeline illustrates the rise of the healthy oil. In the 19th century, heart disease was rare, and animal fats were staples. In the early 20th century, industrial seed oils were marketed as a healthier alternative. By the mid to late 20th century, a dramatic rise in coronary heart disease paralleled surging linoleic acid consumption from vegetable oils. The surge in seed oil consumption coincided with the industrial food production scale-up, making soybean oil the most consumed cooking oil in America. This surge preceded the spike in coronary heart disease deaths by 1 to 2 decades, explaining why the connection was missed in short-term studies. Mid-20th century advertising portrayed vegetable oils as a triumph of modern science, cleaner, lighter, and, quote, heart-healthy compared to traditional animal fats. This marketing fundamentally reshaped American dinner tables for generations. Chapter 2, The Science Behind the Danger. Understanding the harm of vegetable oils requires a look at biochemistry. The danger lies in the chemical behavior of polyunsaturated fatty acids inside the human body, especially under conditions of heat, light, and prolonged storage. Lipid peroxidation is the silent culprit. Vegetable oils have high polyunsaturated fatty acid, or PUFA, content, making them chemically unstable. When PUFAs oxidize, a process called lipid peroxidation, they generate harmful free radicals. This leads to chronic inflammation, a root driver behind many diseases. Vitamin E acts as a temporary shield. It neutralizes free radicals, offering a critical defense. Consumption of vegetable oils transiently elevates vitamin E levels. However, vitamin E has a significantly shorter biological half-life than PUFAs, leading to a dangerous imbalance in tissues over time. The tipping point is when protection fades. The body's initial defenses were not designed to handle the industrial quantities of PUFAs in the modern diet. As PUFAs accumulate and vitamin E reserves deplete, oxidative damage becomes apparent. This creates an unbalanced equation. PUFAs accumulate in body tissues, are chemically unstable, and are continuously replenished. Vitamin E is consumed rapidly fighting oxidation, cannot be replenished fast enough, and once exhausted, oxidative damage proceeds unchecked. The delayed onset of chronic diseases is insidious. Chronic diseases driven by lipid peroxidation take decades to fully manifest, misleading short-term studies. Long-term data, like the Minnesota Coronary Survey and LA Veterans Administration study, linked increased polyunsaturated vegetable oil consumption to higher rates of non-cardiovascular deaths and cancer. Excessive linoleic acid intake promotes atherosclerosis through oxidative stress and chronic systemic inflammation. This leads to plaque formation and hardening. The more PUFAs in the diet, the greater the pool of oxidation-prone LDL in the bloodstream, increasing the risk of heart attack and stroke. Chemical contaminants are introduced during processing. The industrial refining process and high-heat cooking generate toxic compounds. These include trans fats, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and aldehydes, all linked to various serious health conditions, including cardiovascular disease, cancer, and neurological damage. Chronic low-grade inflammation, driven by oxidized PUFAs, is the root of many chronic illnesses. Researchers increasingly identify persistent inflammatory signaling as the common thread in modern diseases, and vegetable oils are potent drivers of this inflammatory state. Chapter 3, Identifying and Avoiding Vegetable Oils. The next step is recognizing these oils in your food supply. They are widespread, often hidden under vague labeling, and embedded in hundreds of everyday products, requiring high consumer awareness. The term vegetable oil is misleading, as most are extracted from seeds using high heat, chemical solvents, and industrial refining. Common seed oils include soybean, corn, canola, sunflower, grapeseed, safflower, and cottonseed oil, all high in linoleic acid. Manufacturers often use generic terms like, quote, vegetable oil. Ingredients are listed by quantity, so if a seed oil is in the first 3 items, the product contains a significant amount. Also, be wary of labels like light, natural, or heart healthy, as they frequently mask high seed oil content. Seed oils are the backbone of processed food. They are the default fat in most packaged products, including condiments like salad dressings and ketchup, baked goods and snacks, restaurant food for frying and sautéing, and margarine and spreads. The average American consumes about 80 pounds of seed oils annually, mostly unknowingly through packaged and restaurant foods. A century ago, this number was near zero. This represents a major dietary shift introduced without long-term safety testing. High-heat cooking, like frying, accelerates lipid peroxidation in PUFAs, forming toxic oxidation products like aldehydes rapidly. The smoke point is a poor safety indicator, as chemical degradation begins much sooner. Better alternatives include stable saturated and monounsaturated fats, like butter, tallow, coconut oil, and avocado oil. Chapter 4. Making healthier choices. Avoiding seed oils is achievable by shifting to real, whole foods. This offers profound rewards for long-term health and reclaims control of your dietary fat intake. The most effective strategy is to eat foods that lack an ingredient list. Whole foods, such as fruits, vegetables, quality animal proteins, and whole nuts and seeds, are naturally free of added industrial oils and provide essential nutrients. The old paradigm promoted replacing saturated fats with polyunsaturated vegetable oils. The evidence-based view shows that the type of fat matters. Traditional stable fats are metabolically safer than industrially processed PUFAs. This reversal challenges decades of flawed dietary dogma. Focus on eating real and eating well. A meal featuring wild-caught fish, roasted vegetables in olive oil or butter, and fresh avocado delivers anti-inflammatory omega-3s, vitamins, and antioxidants without industrial seed oils. This aligns with scientific dietary recommendations. Omega-3 fatty acids are anti-inflammatory and compete with omega-6s for metabolic enzymes. When omega-6s from seed oils dominate, they amplify inflammation. Increasing omega-3 intake from sources like fatty fish, flax seeds, and chia seeds, while reducing seed oils, shifts the body towards an anti-inflammatory state. The modern Western diet has a highly pro-inflammatory 20-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. The ideal upper range is 4-to-1, while the ancestral baseline was about 1-to-1. Reducing omega-6 intake is the most impactful way to restore this critical balance. To restore balance, reduce seed oils from cooking and processed foods. Replace them with stable cooking fats like butter, tallow, or coconut oil, and replenish omega-3 intake through fatty fish and seeds. Chapter 5. Expert warnings and future directions. Independent researchers and physicians are increasingly challenging the long-held consensus that vegetable oils are benign, publishing urgent findings in peer-reviewed literature. Experts like Dr. Joseph Mercola warn that linoleic acid is a primary contributor to chronic disease. Independent research links excessive PUFA intake to cancer, liver disease, and cardiovascular mortality. The narrative is shifting toward recognizing that fat quality matters most. While some organizations still cite LDL reduction as a benefit of PUFAs, the emerging consensus emphasizes the quality, source, and processing of fats. A growing, robust body of evidence highlights the severe long-term risks of excessive industrial PUFA consumption. The data doesn't lie. The trajectory of chronic disease in Western populations has tracked almost precisely with the rise of industrial seed oil consumption over the past 100 years. The biological mechanisms are well established and supported by clinical trial data. Chapter 5. A call for consumer awareness. 3 key actions you can take. First, master the label by learning the names of seed oils and reading ingredient lists. Second, choose whole foods that do not have ingredient lists. Third, advocate for change by supporting clearer food labeling and demanding transparency. The future of fats involves ongoing research to map the precise mechanisms linking PUFAs and chronic disease. Policy reassessment is happening as dietary guidelines revisit old recommendations. The market is shifting towards seed oil-free products, supported by a cultural return to traditional diets. Choose wisely. Your health depends on it. Every dietary choice is a vote for or against your long-term health. The simple act of choosing real food over processed products is one of the most powerful health interventions available to you. The choice is yours. Your health, your choice, empowering your diet. Be informed by understanding the biochemical mechanisms. Act decisively by eliminating seed oils and rebuilding your pantry with healthy fats. Invest in the long term, as the changes you make today will lead to dramatically better health outcomes.